The clock in Monaco doesn't tick to seconds. It ticks to the rumble of engines. And in this tiny principality, a heartbeat isn't measured by pulse, it's measured by the revs of a V12 bouncing off marble walls and yacht-lined harbors. Here, power isn't whispered, it's shouted through polished exhaust tips, echoing across streets that double as a Formula One circuit. Every morning in Monaco is like stepping into a moving car museum, except nothing is behind glass. The boulevard is alive with automotive royalty. Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Aston Martins all prowling lazily as if they own the road, because here, they do. And among them, the V12 reigns supreme. While other parts of the world debate electric futures, downsized turbo engines, and eco-friendly restrictions, Monaco exists in a separate timeline, one where the V12 is not just surviving, but thriving. It's a place where the deep, rolling growl of a naturally aspirated Ferrari 812 superfast casually interrupts breakfast at the Café de Paris. Where the mechanical opera of a Lamborghini Aventador's 6.5-liter V12 doesn't just turn heads, it stops conversations mid-sentence. And where the owner is just as likely to toss the keys to a valet as if it were any other car. The numbers are staggering. Monaco has more Ferraris per capita than any place on Earth. Statistically, you're more likely to see a Ferrari than a bicycle here. In fact, the ratio is so high that spotting one doesn't even make locals glance twice. But for outsiders, every corner is a jaw-dropping experience, a place where rare supercars are parked in parallel like ordinary sedans, and where car spots that would make headlines elsewhere are just part of the daily backdrop. This isn't just about wealth, it's about culture. In Monaco, owning a V12 isn't a status symbol. It's a lifestyle requirement. Residents talk about cars the way others talk about weather forecasts. The streets are pristine not just for appearance, but because these machines deserve nothing less. Here, fuel economy is a meaningless term. The sound of a V12 at 8,000 RPM is considered a form of art. Walk down Boulevard des Moulins and you'll hear it, a low, distant rumble. It's not traffic. It's not construction. It's a Pagani Huayra BC easing out of an underground garage, carbon fiber glistening under the Mediterranean sun. Turn the corner, and a convoy of Ferraris sweeps by, each one more aggressively styled than the last, all painted in shades of red that seem richer than anywhere else in the world. Then comes the unmistakable wail of an Aston Martin Valkyrie, the kind of sound you don't just hear, but feel in your chest. It's impossible not to imagine the garages here. Behind private gates and glass panel doors lie collections worth more than small countries. Some residents own not one V12, but entire stables of them: a Ferrari Daytona SP3 for weekends, a Rolls-Royce Phantom for evenings at the casino, maybe a Lamborghini Shan for when they feel casual. These aren't cars that gather dust. They live and breathe in the streets, their owners proud to let them stretch their legs in front of a global audience of envious onlookers. The Monaco Grand Prix weekend is the pinnacle of this culture. While the official F1 race takes the spotlight, the real show happens off-track. Car after car, LaFerraris, Aventadors, Zondas, even classic V12 icons like the Ferrari 250 GT Lusso floods the streets. Engines rev in tunnels just for the acoustics, and people from around the world pack sidewalks not to see the race cars, but the everyday supercars of Monaco residents. And yet, despite this overwhelming display of power, there's a certain casualness to it all. Here, a V12 isn't flaunted, it's simply part of the scenery. Monaco has redefined normal. Where in other cities, a V12 causes chaos and traffic jams of curious onlookers, here it blends into a symphony of automotive excess. It's a reminder that in some corners of the world, automotive dreams are still alive in their purest form. No sound limiters, no hybrid assistance, no maybe in the future, just raw, mechanical passion. The V12, with its impossible smoothness and spine-tingling soundtrack, still holds its throne. And in Monaco, that throne isn't just preserved, it's celebrated daily. The sun sets over the harbor, casting gold reflections on the mirrored hoods of cars parked outside Hotel de Paris. Somewhere, a Ferrari 812 competition fires up, its cold start sending shivers down the spine of anyone within earshot. A Rolls-Royce Cullinan glides past silently, but behind it, a Lamborghini Aventador Ultimi cracks and pops through every gear change, bouncing sound off stone walls and luxury boutiques. It's a scene so surreal, You wonder if it's all a dream until you remember, this is Monaco. For the rest of the world, V12s might be endangered. They might be called inefficient relics of the past. But here, they're not going anywhere. Because in Monaco, it's always V12 hour. Always. And that's why this place, this tiny slice of coastline, will forever be the world's richest garage. Not because of the money, but because of the heartbeat it shares with every car enthusiast who hears that unmistakable 12-cylinder roar and knows, this is as good as it gets. The night in Monaco transforms the streets into something even more magical. Under the soft glow of street lamps and the shimmering reflections from luxury storefronts, the cars look alive, almost breathing. The chrome accents catch the light like jewelry, and the rich tones of deep blues, fiery reds, and pearl whites seem to glow in the darkness. The purr of engines becomes more intimate at night, less a roar of dominance, more a low conversation between driver and machine. At the Casino de Monte-Carlo, the scene is cinematic. Couples step out of Bentleys, their doors opening with a hushed elegance, while just meters away a Ferrari SF90 creeps forward, its V12 hybrid setup humming softly before unleashing its power in a sudden surge as it pulls away. Tourists freeze, phones raised, desperate to capture a moment that feels like it belongs in a movie. But the locals? They barely notice. This is the nightly rhythm here. Down by Port Hercule, the yachts and the cars share a mutual respect, each one a symbol of engineering mastery and excess. Owners step from a McLaren Speedtail and walk straight onto a yacht worth tens of millions, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. The two worlds blur here, land and sea, horsepower and propellers, all powered by the same love for exclusivity and performance. Monaco's unique geography adds to the drama. The narrow streets and tight turns amplify every rev, turning a simple gear change into an explosion of sound. The famous tunnel the one Formula One drivers blast through every year becomes an unofficial stage for the V12's greatest hits. At night, the echo is hypnotic, each pass-through creating a rolling wave of sound that lingers long after the car is gone. You don't just hear it. You feel it in your bones. The culture here doesn't just revolve around ownership, it thrives on public display. Cars aren't tucked away in private garages to be admired in solitude. They are shown, driven, heard, and experienced. Every outing is a statement, every rev a signature. Some owners will even take their classics out late at night, when the streets are calm, just to feel the pure, unfiltered connection between man and machine without the distraction of crowds. In the rare quiet moments, when the streets are momentarily still, the anticipation builds. You know that at any second, the silence will be shattered by the arrival of something extraordinary, maybe a one-off Ferrari tailor-made for a single owner, or a restored 1960s Lamborghini Miura, its V12 singing in a way that modern engines can't replicate. This anticipation is part of what makes Monaco so intoxicating. You're never more than moments away from seeing or hearing something unforgettable. Even the air feels different here. It's rich with the smell of high-octane fuel, fine leather interiors, and the salty breeze from the Mediterranean. It's a place where the romance of driving still exists in its most glamorous form, untouched by the compromises of the outside world. And the V12, it is the soul of this kingdom. It's a reminder of a time when performance wasn't just about numbers on a spec sheet, but about emotion. When designers and engineers didn't just build cars to be fast, they built them to be beautiful, to sound like nothing else on the road, to create a connection so strong it borders on obsession. In Monaco, that obsession is alive and well. It's in the eyes of a child pressing their face against a shop window to catch a glimpse of a rare Aston Martin. It's in the way strangers from opposite ends of the world strike up conversations just because they are standing next to the same Lamborghini. It's in the way locals smile when they hear a rev in the distance, knowing exactly what model it is before they even see it. The world may be moving on, chasing electric efficiency and whisper quiet rides. But here, the 12-cylinder heart still beats loud and proud, each pulse a defiant statement to the future: we are not done yet. Because in Monaco, time is not measured in minutes or hours. It's measured in moments, and every one of those moments is better with a V12. Dawn in Monaco arrives softly, the first light of the sun slipping over the hills and spilling onto the calm waters of the harbor. The streets are nearly empty, save for a few early risers, joggers, shopkeepers preparing for the day, and the quiet rumble of a V12 warming up somewhere in the distance. It's a new day, but the rhythm is the same. Even before the city fully wakes, the language of engines is being spoken. A matte black Ferrari 812 competition emerges from an underground garage, the vapor from its exhaust swirling in the cool morning air. The driver takes it slow at first, letting the car breathe, letting the oil warm, the engine stretching awake like a predator after a night's rest. The sound bounces gently off the narrow facades, not roaring yet just hinting at the violence it's capable of unleashing. Soon, more cars join the quiet procession. A white Lamborghini Aventador Ultimi glides past the market square, its angular form catching the morning sun like a shard of glass. A deep, resonant note from a vintage Ferrari 275 GTB follows shortly after, an old soul rolling proudly through a city that loves both the new and the timeless. Here, classics aren't museum pieces, they're living, breathing companions, cherished as much for their history as for their performance. By mid-morning, Monaco has transformed. The cafes are alive with conversation, the sidewalks full of camera-toting visitors, and the streets a slow-moving parade of some of the most valuable cars on the planet. Not all are V12s, but when one appears, you know it. It's not just the sound, though that's unmistakable, it's the presence. A V12 car doesn't just drive down the road, it owns it. The locals, unfazed, carry on with their day. They've grown up with this soundtrack. For them, it's as normal as the waves hitting the shore. But for the outsider, every turn is an adrenaline rush. Even the mundane becomes a spectacle: a casual grocery run in a Rolls-Royce Phantom, a quick school drop-off in a Ferrari GTC 4 Lusso, or a trip to the marina in a bespoke Pagani. In Monaco, the streets themselves seem to invite speed, even though the rules keep it restrained. The gentle curves, the sudden elevation changes, the glimpses of the sea, they all beg for a downshift, for the engine to sing a little louder. And though the law keeps most drivers tame, every now and then, someone gives in to temptation. A burst of throttle, a crescendo of cylinders, and for a few glorious seconds, the city is alive with sound and fury. Afternoons bring another kind of theater. Parked outside the Hotel de Paris and the Casino de Monte-Carlo, cars line up like jewels in a display case. Photographers swarm, tourists gasp, and the owners, well, the owners seem in no hurry at all. They linger over coffee, aware that their machines are part of the show. Some even pause mid-step to watch someone else's car roll by, proof that even here, in the richest garage in the world, admiration goes both ways. And then there are the chance encounters, the moments you don't plan for. You might be walking along the marina when you hear it, the feral scream of a naturally aspirated V12 pushed to its limits, growing louder until it's right in front of you, a bright yellow Lamborghini Countach from decades past, driven not like an old collectible, but like it's still 1985 and the road belongs to it. These are the moments Monaco gives freely, without warning, and they are worth the trip alone. As the day stretches on, the cycle continues. New cars arrive, old ones disappear into private garages, and the streets become a constantly shifting gallery of automotive art. There's no start or end to it. In Monaco, this isn't an event, it's just life. By evening, the golden hour returns, and with it, the most cinematic light imaginable. The reflections off the harbor, the shadows stretching across the winding streets, the glow on the polished curves of a Ferrari Daytona SP3, it's the kind of beauty that no camera can fully capture, though that doesn't stop everyone from trying. Night falls again. The neon signs hum to life, the laughter of people spilling from restaurants, and in between it all the heartbeat of Monaco. A V12 firing in the distance, then another, the notes layering over each other like an orchestra tuning before the performance begins. But here, the performance never ends. Because Monaco doesn't sleep the way other cities do. Somewhere, right now, someone is driving along the coastline, the road empty, the engine free to sing at full voice. Somewhere, right now, a collector is pulling a silk cover off a rare car, preparing it for a midnight cruise. And somewhere, right now, a visitor is standing frozen on a corner, realizing they've just seen 3 cars in 5 minutes that they've only ever dreamed about. In this city, moments like these aren't rare, they're the baseline. This is Monaco's promise, that no matter when you arrive, no matter where you stand, you're never far from the thrill of a 12-cylinder masterpiece in motion. And that is why Monaco will always be the world's richest garage. Not just because of the value of its cars, but because here, the V12 is not a relic, it's a way of life. And as long as there's fuel to burn and roads to drive, Monaco will keep the clock set permanently to V12 hour. And so, as the waves of the Mediterranean lap against the harbor walls and the final embers of the sunset fade into the velvet night, Monaco stands unchanged, untouched by the quieting of the world beyond its borders. Here, the melody of a V12 is more than just sound, it's a declaration. A statement that passion, heritage, and the art of driving still matter. In other places, the V12 has become a ghost, something whispered about in collectors' circles, spoken of in the past tense. But in Monaco, it's alive. Breathing. Moving. Filling the streets with an energy that can't be replicated by silence or electric hums. Here, each throttle blip is a brushstroke on an ever-changing canvas, every downshift a heartbeat that resonates with those who truly understand what it means to love a machine. This is not nostalgia. This is not a museum. Monaco is a living, roaring, unapologetic celebration of the automobile at its most glorious. And for anyone lucky enough to walk these streets, it's a reminder that the world doesn't have to let go of everything beautiful just because the times are changing. The rest of the world might measure time with seconds and minutes. But here, the measure is different. Here, it's the gap between gear changes. The rising pitch before a shift. The lingering echo after a high rev pass through the tunnel. Time in Monaco is not kept by clocks, it's kept by engines. And as long as there is fuel, as long as there is asphalt, as long as there are people who refuse to let the soul of driving fade, the V12 will keep its throne. It will keep roaring. It will keep defying the odds. And Monaco will keep its crown as the world's richest garage, where the clock will always, always read V12 hour. Because here, legends don't retire. They just keep driving.